Former Red Bull CEO Christian Horner is jobless, just like many people on social media appear to be. Some pundits feel Horner is hard done by and are already talking about what he might do next, as they don't expect him to stay away from Formula 1 very long. As always, I have my own ideas about this subject, so here goes. I'm Wimbo. Here's 3 seconds to leave a like. Martin Brundle suspects a key role from Team Verstappen in Horner's sacking. He was speaking on Sky Sports F1 podcast where he said that he knew Horner was not wanted there by the Verstappen party and suspect they were pretty involved in the decision to axe him. He said, "So I'm perhaps not totally surprised. I'm saddened because I think Christian's done an incredible job picking up the bones of what was the Jaguar F1 team and what he's achieved in the last 20 years there. And I consider him a friend. So it's a pity it's ended so abruptly like this. So it's seismic because he was such an important part of the Red Bull team. He got Adrian Newey involved and, for example, every point, every podium, every victory, every world champion that Max has and other drivers like Sebastian Vettel, Christian was at the helm." He also spoke a little bit about what Christian Horner might have done wrong to get fired like this. He said, "I think his failing on that was convincing himself and trying to convince everybody else that they weren't really doing that much anymore. And it really didn't matter. He'd got a better crew behind them. But that wasn't correct. And I think we've seen that. But let's remember, this is a team that was in pole position last weekend in Silverstone, one of the toughest circuits in the world, and has won 2 Grand Prix this season. It's not exactly like it's been a disaster, and they completely non-performed. But I think there were too many things working against him. He had a lot of support from Shalom Yovidia, and I think eventually that's faded away, and the inevitable has happened." And then he spoke about the Verstappen camp again. "So it's just odd, this is a strange time to do it, and a strange urgency, I would say to that. We don't know what's going on behind closed doors, but I do know that Team Verstappen were not happy with him there. I don't know, but what's absolutely clear is that the Verstappen camp has been lobbing in hand grenades for quite some months now, and some of them have gone off, and it's been pretty relentless in that respect. And I think at times Max's dad Jos has made it absolutely clear that he thinks Christian shouldn't be leading the company and leading the team. So I would say yes, they played a key role in Christian's exit." Well. Brundle calls Horner a friend and supports him. "It baffles me that a well-informed professional feels this way after everything that has happened over the years at Red Bull. It's like he picks and chooses what to be offended about. Drivers can be sacked after months of questions about their performance, and that's fine. And Horner tried a coup on the man who hired him, Helmut Marko, and Sky Sports were willing to drag the Austrian's name through the mud over a silly comment. But a man who has chased away all the talent, grabbed as much power as he could, was accused of inappropriate behavior, and is about to lose the best F1 driver in the world, that guy needs his support because they go way back. It's maybe because he's English, but something feels off here. And then to involve the Verstappen camp in it is a cheap shot as well. What I notice on social media and in the comments is that usually the most unnuanced, dumb people scream about Jos Verstappen, like he has the influence to change the minds of billionaires in Austria and Thailand. Obviously, the Sky Sport audience loves this angle. They loved hating Horner, but now that he's fired, they gladly switched to hating the Verstappens again. Especially Jos. The truth is that Horner's sacking was coming for a long time. Oliver Mintzlaff just needed the support from Yovidia to get it done. It was just as much of a surprise to Verstappen as it was to the rest of the world, and that's the last I'll say about it. Let's look at Horner's next possible gig. Not so long ago, before the Horner story and the Verstappen to Mercedes story dominated the news, the position of Fred Vasseur was under scrutiny. The results are disappointing, especially considering the significant hype surrounding the season, given Lewis Hamilton's arrival. Team LH was convinced that Lewis would join the Maranello team and lead them to the drivers and constructors titles with ease. They only needed to do a little better than McLaren. The reality is that all the expected problems, the ones we always see at Ferrari, are still there. A wishy-washy car, bad communication, and weird strategies. So it looked for a while that the Ferrari board was going to do what they always do and replace the team principal. With Christian Horner on the market and the effort they made in the past to get him, it's not a weird shout to place him at Ferrari. However, if you think about it a little longer, you'd see that Horner at old-fashioned Ferrari is not a good fit. Christian Horner is way too cheeky for that team, who sell cars as expensive as a house, mind you. Being classy is what it's all about. And I like Horner's cheekiness, but he's far from classy in the past years. His attitude also became a bit of an act. Like in Austria, he said that there wouldn't be many papaya fans, but the ones who were there were gonna go home crying. Red Bull went home with no points. I was in Zandvoort last season and Ariana Bravo did an interview with him on stage. And he said that it was a pity McLaren looked good, that Ferrari looked good, but it was especially bad that Mercedes looked good. This was met with a lukewarm response, as nobody in the Orange Army has beef with Mercedes anymore. Actually, we don't have beef with any team. Yeah, Horner wasn't himself anymore, and seeing the trouble he has been in and how his ambitions got him fired, I don't think Ferrari would work for either party. Ferrari can't give him what he wants, and he can't give Ferrari what they want. Let's look at the next team on my list. The team formerly known as Renault, and many more names before that. It's safe to say that that team is an even bigger mess than Red Bull is. Every year, people walk away from Enstone angry, and it never seems to stop. Flavio Briatore is the man in charge now, and he's ruthless to his drivers. Replaces them all the time. Now, he was hired by Luca Di Maio, who has left Alpine now. So even the place of Flavio Briatore isn't safe at the moment. It does bring an opportunity for someone as ambitious as Christian Horner. Flavio and Christian go way back and are considered friends. He knows a lot of people, and he was very popular with his staff in Milton Keynes. I bet he can pluck away a bunch of people from there to rebuild Alpine. In that sense, it might be a good move. Horner is ambitious, and his biggest wish is to buy into a team. Alpine, or a new version of that team, might allow him to do that. So let's see in January, when Horner's contract is up. I have another option for Horner. As it is, Christian Horner is only relieved of his duties in the 4 positions he has. He's still on the payroll and can ride this out until his contract ends. I'm hearing about a £50 million payout to get rid of him for good. But so far, I haven't heard of a decision on that yet. This got me thinking, what if this sacking was just a ploy to show Max Verstappen that Red Bull is serious about the future? So serious that they would fire a man who's been there for 20 years. And then, as soon as Max Verstappen has assured them he's staying, they open up talks for Horner in a different capacity. And everyone's happy. I've also heard that Max wasn't at all happy with the sudden dismissal of Horner. That's why his manager, Raymond Vermeulen, came out with a statement saying that they haven't been told the reasons for this decision and that nothing has changed in their search for more performance. There's definitely a way back in for Horner. And truth be told, I like to see him back, just as team principal. I'm sure he's learned his lesson not to want too much. There's also the possibility that Max Verstappen leaves regardless of Horner not being there. In that case, the Max clan is gone and the path is clear for Horner to come back in as well. I said in another video months ago that Red Bull might not be all that against a Verstappen farewell, as his presence puts a lot of pressure on the performance in a time where that can't be guaranteed. A Red Bull lineup of Tsunoda and Hadjar in a more benign car in 2026 might not be that bad. If they both score points in each race, they might be P4 in the standings too, without the second driver getting damaged. Like, the only reason why Pierre Rocher and Enrico Balbo could keep producing these awful cars was because Max Verstappen kept getting somewhat good results out of them. If 2 drivers struggle, they have to change the fucking car. Anyway, I'll link that video as an end screen in case you want to watch it. Another left field solution I've heard is for Horner to take over the sister team. He might get that done with a few good sponsors. And then he'll have what he always wanted. Equity in F1. By any means, this is not the last we've seen of the terrier Christian Horner. He knows all the dirty secrets of his team, so Red Bull needs to tread with care. He will burn the lot down before he gets kicked out for good. It's best to make a few compromises. Subscribe. Take care now. Doei doei.